A man locks a bathroom door from the inside. His young son is asleep on the floor beside him. Outside, the city hums with indifference. And in that locked room, with nothing left to lose, something quietly refuses to break. What holds a person together when everything has already fallen apart? The Bhagavad Gita speaks of a warrior named Arjuna, who stood on a battlefield and collapsed, not from weakness, but from despair. He looked at what lay ahead and said, "I cannot do this." And Krishna, his guide, did not offer comfort. He offered clarity. "You have a right to perform your duties," Krishna said, "but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions." This is the teaching of Nishkama Karma, action without attachment to outcome, not indifference, not giving up, but doing what must be done fully, even when the result is invisible, even when the floor is cold and the night is long. Gardner was a salesman, not a successful one, not yet. He had a young son, no stable home, and a medical device he was trying to sell that almost no one wanted to buy. His marriage dissolved. His savings ran dry. For nearly a year, he and his son moved through shelters, churches, and borrowed floors. One night, they ended up in a subway bathroom. His son slept. Chris sat awake, holding the door shut with his foot so no one could come in. He had applied for an unpaid training program at a brokerage firm, one of 20 candidates competing for a single paid position at the end. Every morning, he dressed carefully, showed up fully, and worked harder than anyone in that room. No one there knew where he had slept the night before. He did not wait for his circumstances to improve before he gave his best. He gave his best so his circumstances could improve. That is not a motivational slogan. That is Nishkama Karma, lived in a subway bathroom. The first lesson is this: suffering does not disqualify you from purpose. We tend to believe that we must first be stable, rested, and ready before we can begin. But the Gita does not say, wait until the battlefield is comfortable. It says, stand up. The work does not pause for your pain. The second lesson is about identity. Gardner did not become a stockbroker the day he got the job. He became one the morning he walked in, broke, exhausted, and fully committed. The Stoics call this the inner citadel, the part of you that circumstance cannot reach. Marcus Aurelius wrote from a palace, but the principle is the same. What you are inside is not determined by what surrounds you outside. The third lesson is quieter. He held the door shut so his son could sleep. That act, protecting someone else's peace in the middle of your own storm, that is not weakness dressed up as strength. That is love as discipline. And it is perhaps the most ancient teaching of all. We endure not just for ourselves, but for what we carry. Here is the practice. Tonight or tomorrow morning, take one thing you have been postponing because the conditions aren't right yet. The business idea, the difficult conversation, the creative work, the step you keep saying you'll take when things settle down. Write it down. Then ask yourself honestly, what is the smallest version of this action I can take today, regardless of outcome? Not the full leap. Just the next step. Do it without waiting for the result to be guaranteed. Do it the way a seed pushes through soil, not because it can see the sun yet, but because that is simply what it is made to do. The Gita does not promise that right action leads to easy outcomes. It promises something more durable, that right action is its own integrity. And integrity, once built, cannot be taken from you. Chris Gardner eventually got the job, then built a firm, then told his story to the world. But the real story, the one that matters, happened before any of that. It happened in a locked room, in the dark, with a sleeping child and a door held shut by a single foot. That is where the empire was actually built, not on Wall Street. In the quiet decision to keep going, when no one was watching, when nothing was guaranteed, when the only reason to continue was that continuing was the right thing to do. A seed does not know it will become a tree. It only knows to grow. Subscribe to LifeVeda for daily wisdom that transforms your life.